Welcome back. Monday edition of the Buckmaster Show in the Green Things Zocalo Village studio. Time for our monthly interview segment presented by our friends at the Better Business Bureau of Southern Arizona. With me in studio, Sean Hendrick is with us. Sean is Director of Marketing and Communication. Also with me in studio, Pat Risner is here from South 32. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
Tell me a little bit about, I know, Sean, you're so pleased with the partnership that South 32 has presented to you and your colleagues at the BBB.
No, absolutely. South 32 and Pat has contributed so much to helping us out in the community and getting, putting the standards of trust out there so people can learn from that. But also, they're a huge supporter of our Torch Awards. Mm-hmm. And we're so happy of what they've contributed and how they contribute.
Pat, why did you decide that BBB would be a great hookup for you?
Well, I think it aligns with our values. Mm-hmm. It's the first big event we really got involved with in terms of sponsorship when we first became part of the Southern Arizona business community. And it's mainly, if you go to the Torch Awards each year and see the stories, the values, the trust, the integrity for the businesses that are honored that night, it makes us proud to be a part of it. And it's the standards and values that we want to follow in the way in which we go about our business. So it was a perfect alignment for us.
Pat, tell our listeners a little bit about your company. Who is South 32?
So South 32 is a global mining and metals company that's headquartered in Western Australia. We have mining operations in Southern Africa, Australia, and South America. And about 3 years ago, purchased what we call the Hermosa Project, which is down in Santa Cruz County, south of Patagonia, northeast of Nogales. And it's a zinc, lead, silver, manganese mining project where we're looking to develop a next generation modern mine in Santa Cruz County to provide really critical minerals that are going to be really essential with the direction that our country's going in tackling some challenges and growing and building infrastructure.
So South 32 has been in Southern Arizona then for about 3 years, but you're not actually operating a mine yet. So what's been going on during that period, that 3-year period with the company?
Yeah, so part of our approach, we're very deliberate in making sure we get things right when we look at a development like this. We understand sort of the history of mining, and really that's where we started. The area where we're operating was historically mined back as far back as the 1850s through the Civil War. There's a lot of historic mining waste in the area. So the first thing we really did is entered into a voluntary remediation program with the state of Arizona to clean up some of the old historic mining waste that was on our site. Spent about $30 million to create a real state-of-the-art facility, which we could use as a showcase for what modern next-generation mining looks like as an indication of what our standards will be. And cleaned up 2.2 million tons of old mining waste and really positive feedback from the state. And then concurrent with that, we've been doing studies. So one of the things before we go into a development of this scale, we really want to understand the environment where we operate, looking at every way we can extract the resource to create a safe, sustainable next generation mine, and one that's aligned with the goals of the country. One of the things we've learned is these minerals that we'll produce at Hermosa are becoming more and more strategically important to our country, not just for the state of Arizona.
Pat, I understand you're working on what you would call a carbon neutral mine. Tell me what that is about.
Well, the minerals we'll produce at Hermosa are going to be increasingly in demand as we start to address climate change in the U.S. So more electric vehicles need more batteries, which require manganese, which requires zinc. More renewable energy requires batteries as well. Every photovoltaic solar cell in the world has silver on it. So if we're going to produce commodities that are really intended to address the challenges of climate change, we feel it's only appropriate in a modern mine to have a mine that doesn't contribute to climate change. So we're looking at ways to design the mine where it's zero carbon emissions. So things like sourcing all renewable power for the mine. So we're working with partners to do that. It'll be an underground mine. All of our vehicle fleets underground will be battery powered, electric, And we're even looking to demonstrate some over-the-road semi-truck technology that's full electric as well, with the aim to not purchase carbon offsets to be carbon neutral, but to actually eliminate our emissions.
People think of mining, they think of those big open pit mines, but you're talking about an underground facility. That presents different challenges, doesn't it?
It will be very different. If you've seen the historic copper mining here, large open pits, this resource, one, is at great depth, so that doesn't make sense practically or technically.
How deep? You say
Between
great depth?
1,300 and 4,000 feet below the surface.
Whoa, that is a long way down.
But it also presents an opportunity to create a mining operation that is very different in terms of its environmental performance. So the mining method that we'll use to extract the resource underground creates zero surface disturbance, unlike open pit mines or even a lot of underground mines that would tend to subside.
You wouldn't even know it was there then, would you?
Wouldn't know it was there, which is great. And when we process the ore, the waste rock that comes out of the mill, which would typically be disposed on the surface, we can take back underground and backfill, which further reduces our impact on the surface, which is part of minimizing the impact on environmental resources and water and the things like that.
Yeah, you bring up water, Pat Risner. What is the water footprint on this project?
Well, this is something we've spent a lot of time studying, understanding. We're in the desert Southwest. Well, we've had some wonderful monsoon rain recently.
The
we all know,
rainiest month on record here.
Yeah, it's just been amazing, really wonderful. But it's an important, precious resource. So this is one reason we've been in the study phase for 2 or 3 years now, is we spent a lot of that time studying subsurface and surface groundwater resources, doing testing in the field, modeling, to try to really make sure that this mining development won't impact adversely those precious water resources. And one of the ways in which we're demonstrating that, the new facility we've built to clean up that historic mining waste, is a dry stack facility where the waste material goes back. We dry it before it goes back in. And when we produce tailings as a producing mine, we'll continue to do that. It reduces your water consumption by 70 or 80%.
Of course, Patagonia has a very rich ecotourism business. A lot of people love to go down there to recreate. They love to look at the birds. How will the mine impact all of that?
It's something we're very sensitive to, and we've done a lot of listening in the community, and we know the restorative and ecotourism economy is very important to them. The interesting thing, the geologic forces that created the Patagonia Mountains, which made it such a special place, are also the same forces that created these important mineral resources. So the first thing we're doing is working with environmental and community groups to understand better what are the key drivers, so that we can actually amplify that and support that. But I guess the primary thing is, how do we build a next generation mine that can effectively coexist, and to your point earlier, leave as minimal a trace as possible, yet produce minerals that are going to be essential for our country as we address other environmental challenges like climate change, and in doing so, create jobs in a part of the state really that has needed economic stimulus and needed, an economic opportunity, a game changer like this for a very long time down in Santa Cruz County.
Pat, where are these minerals normally found in this country, the ones you're talking about? And again, what minerals are we talking about?
So it's zinc, lead, silver, and manganese.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is we produce about 70 to 80% of the copper we consume domestically in the United States. We're not that reliant on foreign sources. We're completely reliant on foreign sources for these 4 minerals. There's no manganese produced anywhere in North America. Most of it comes from China. And the majority of the zinc and lead in the world comes from China or Peru and other sources. So we import everything. So as we all want to tackle this big challenge of climate change, shift to renewable energy, electric vehicles, this is an issue. And the new Biden administration has issued some executive orders to try to create domestic supply chains for these minerals. The federal government's listed manganese as a strategic critical mineral and nominated zinc as well, demonstrating the importance of domestic production. We can do it here, set a new standard for how mining's done, and employ a lot of people in Santa Cruz County.
Yeah, that's so important, and I do want to touch on that. What kind of workforce are we talking about? What kind of numbers do you think when you really get up and running?
We're still working through the specifics as part of the study, but this scale of mining operation should be one of the larger underground hard rock mining operations in the country, would employ several hundred full-time for decades to come. And typically, around 1,000 or even more during construction. And a mining job a mining job in Arizona pays about double the average household income in Arizona. So it is a significant sort of socioeconomic impact in the area where we operate.
That's great to know, Pat Risner of South 32. Thanks for kind of filling us in. How do you move your minerals then after you bring them out of the ground? Truck or rail or both? Or
So we're located up in the mountains with minimal infrastructure, and obviously we don't want to add to the disturbance by creating a significant build out of infrastructure. So the concentrate product of each of these minerals would be trucked to either a railhead or to another facility to transport it to be smelted into metal.
All right, Pat Risner of South 32. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for your support of the BBB.
Thank you for having me. We really appreciate it.
And Sean, tell me a little bit, and we are out of time, but I do want to circle back to the BBB and your website and your scam alert, which we try to hammer on every month. What's the contact info?
You can go ahead and go to our website at bbb.org, and you can also nominate a company such as Pat's for a torch award next year. And you can go to bbb.org/Tucson Torch to nominate a business that is good for our community.
And as far as the scams, be cautious with some of those calls that are coming in. I seem to get now 3, 4, 5 a day. And they used to start, Sean, they'd at least start after 8 o'clock. I'm getting calls now at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's exactly right. I am too. And when you get those calls, if you think you're being scammed, hit our scam tracker at bbb.org/scam tracker.
And then share with others your experience. Maybe it'll help people out. Thank you very much, Pat and Sean.
Thank you so much, Bill.
All right, that'll wrap it up for our BBB report.